Good morning. I was told to start filming so that you would start your vlog today.
Thanks.
Lady China.
I thought it'd be fun today to show you guys what an average weekend in our life looks like with our pets and share their adoption stories, because I don't think I've ever told all of their adoption stories in one place before. I fell victim of the TikTok shop and got some of this whipped sunscreen, and I think it's so cool. I love it. Animals and photography have always been my first two passions in life. I actually started my very first business when I was 8 years old. It was printed in the newspaper and everything, so it was official, but it was a dog sitting business that ran out of my parents' garage. It's safe to say that did not last very long. The second business I ever started was in high school, and that was a photography business, and I would take photos for local families, maternity photos. I did people's senior photos. I actually did my own senior photos as well. The second job I ever worked was a job that I got in college, and I was a zookeeper at the Fort Wayne Children's Zoo. There I actually got to work with the 250-pound Aldabra tortoises, and you might say that's where my love for tortoises began. After that, I kind of fell into the silly path of, well, none of these careers are gonna make me money, so I might as well do something that will, and I was going to school at the time for dental hygiene. Long story short, I realized that wasn't making me happy, so I went back to the drawing board, and in 2018, I got a job as a vet assistant, and I thought, this is it, this is my path. I was super excited, and I was gonna re-enroll to finish my degree as a vet tech. However, a few months in, and I realized this was the most toxic environment I'd ever been a part of. I'm sure not every hospital is like this, but I felt like our doctors enjoyed making girls leave crying. They were so mean. There was so much drama, and I was the most depressed I've ever been in my entire life. At that time, Brad was working a job as a security guard, so we were living paycheck to paycheck. I was applying for other jobs, wasn't landing anything, and I just woke up one day and I could not do it any longer. With the encouragement of my husband, I sent in my one-day notice to quit, which I've never done before either. We had no idea how we were gonna pay the bills the next month, but I couldn't stay there another day. Long story short, after that, I dove full-fledged into what my dream career was, which was content creation. And for the past almost 6 years, I've been a full-time content creator. I started in the travel niche because at that time I just had one adventure kitty who I took everywhere with me, and then when he passed away, we went full-fledged into full-time travel. We spent 9 months in Africa, we spent some time in Europe, Asia, and then when we settled down in 2022, we started accumulating all these pets, and I started sharing them on social media, and now I think it's like a full circle moment that my two passions that started so many years ago, photography, videography, and animals, is what makes my career now, and I just think it's, I don't know, it's really cool. So I just wanted to thank you guys for being here, first of all, and watching this and supporting our pages. It really is a dream come true for me, and if you have any questions about content creation, how to get started, just say the word and I will make some videos about it. Okay, that's enough jibber jabber about me. Let's get on with the day.
Here he comes. Crazy boy. Crazy boy.
The first thing we always do in the mornings is get some energy out of this crazy guy, do some training, and play ball with him. Zuko puppy! What are you doing? Zuko, up! Zuko, ball again. Go meet him. Good go. Good go meet him. There we go. Good boy. And the kitties always like to watch. What the kitty's doing? I normally come out here and read in the mornings while Brad's playing with Zuko. I've been on a deep dive of romantasy lately. I just finished Quicksilver, and oh my gosh, Kingfisher. but I figured you guys didn't want to sit here and watch me read, so I thought I would take this time to tell you about how we got Zuko. Zuko is the first pet that Brad and I got together. We didn't have pets for a long time, and then we got Zuko. He was our first baby. So I do a lot of traveling by myself, cross-country road trips, so we knew that we wanted to get a dog that we would be able to train to defend both of us if, you know, anything bad were to ever happen. So we found a breeder who breeds dogs for the police force, but occasionally they have dogs that are too friendly to make the cut, and so they give them to families. When we originally filled out the paperwork and put our application in, we were told that it was going to be like a 8 to 12 month wait list. So that's what we were preparing ourselves for. We had just moved into a little apartment in Phoenix, and then 2 weeks later we got a message from the breeder saying, hey, we have a puppy available. If you can come pick him up in the next 24 hours, he's yours. Otherwise, we're going to give him to the next person. Mind you, they're all the way across the country in West Virginia, and we are in Phoenix, Arizona. So Brad books a flight. For the next day, he goes and he picks Zuko up, this tiny little Dutch Shepherd puppy, brings him home, and then the chaos begins. So if you know anything about working dogs, specifically Belgian Malinois, Dutch Shepherds, they are crazy dogs. They have a ton of energy. Really difficult to raise them in an apartment. We started crate training him, which we found out really quickly is not the best idea in a little apartment where you have a grumpy old lady who lives downstairs. We got so many noise complaints after we brought Zuko home. We were constantly in battle with our downstairs neighbor. So about a month or two into this new puppy parenthood, we ended up looking for house rentals in the area. We found one and we moved into a house so that Zuko could be much happier, as well as our downstairs neighbor. Brad is checking our little garden this morning, and I usually come out here and pick some flowers for the reptiles. Next, Brad starts on breakfast while I make all the kitties and reptiles breakfast. We feed all of our pets a raw food diet, and for the cats we have some meat from the local butcher. We use Easy Complete from Food for Life, which is just a meal completer. It's basically just a powder that balances the meal and makes sure that they're getting everything they need. This is a really easy way to feed a raw food diet without the hassle of having to worry about, you know, making your own recipes, balancing the meals yourself, dealing with all of the organs and everything like that. So we just use ground meat from the local butcher. It is important to make sure you're using 3 different types of meat when you're doing this. We usually alternate chicken, pork, and beef. You can use turkey, rabbit, or other things, but I find that these are just the easiest things for us to get at our local butcher, and for some reason the cats don't like turkey, so we don't use turkey. Let me know if you guys would like a whole breakdown of feeding cats a raw food diet, transitioning them to a raw food diet. Bindi is not fully integrated yet, so she still is eating by herself in the bathroom. After Zuko, we got Kusa, who is a Maine Coon kitty. I never thought I would get another cat after my first cat passed away, but obviously now I have 5. Kusa was actually a gift given to me by my mom. He's the first cat I've ever had that I got to get as a little kitten, and it was so cute, but we quickly found out just how much of a little shithead he is. So when we brought Kusa home, he would get into everything. He would chew on cords, he was tearing up our curtains, just being an absolute menace. So 2 weeks after we brought him home, we decided to get another cat so that they could hopefully play together, and Kusa kind of had an outlet for that crazy energy. And that's when we found Gouda. Gouda was was just a little kitten on Pet Finder. The rescue that we got him from said that they found him listed on Craigslist as snake food. Thankfully, the rescue came across the listing. They saved him and his entire little litter of kittens, went and picked them all up and kept them in their home until they were all eventually adopted out. Buda was super shy, and they said that tons and tons of people came to come meet him but ended up leaving with one of his siblings. But I knew as soon as we saw him on Pet Finder that I was gonna bring him home. So we went and we met him. He was very shy. He hid under their bathroom cabinet for like 30-40 minutes, and we just sat there with him until he eventually came out, and then we brought him home that day, and him and Kusa have been inseparable ever since. After breakfast, it's time for the reptile chores. I already picked a bunch of greens and weeds from our garden, a couple of flowers as well. So then I just chop these all up for the reptiles. I already have a tortoise care video out if you guys want to check out my entire tortoise routine, tips and tricks and everything you need to know about having a tortoise. Can't forget Fig's grass. After Gouda, Kusa, and Zuko, we decided to get Fig. He was so much smaller when we first got him. He was about that big. What a little cutie. I have always loved reptiles. We had bearded dragons when we were growing up. In college, I had a pet chameleon. I've had pet tarantulas. So I knew that when we did settle down and live in an apartment or in a house, I wanted to get a pet reptile. One of the biggest deciding factors when it came to getting a tortoise was the fact that Fig's species of tortoise does not eat bugs. And I'm so tired, like I said, having tarantulas and chameleons and bearded dragons, they have to eat bugs in order to be healthy. So you also pretty much have to have pet crickets, pet mealworms, and have a constant supply of bugs, which was not fun for me to deal with. So I really like that Fig didn't need to eat bugs. And I also think it's really cool that like Fig and I are going to spend the rest of our lives together. His lifespan is pretty on par with a human's lifespan. I think it's kind of crazy and really sad that these guys are going to come and go, but Fig's always going to be there with me, and I think that's really special. We got Beifong and Seymour next. I actually came across Seymour around the same time that I came across Gouda on Pet Finder, but I ended up, you know, getting Gouda obviously first. And then around 7 or 8 months after that, I just decided to browse on Pet Finder again, and I saw that Seymour was still up for adoption. Hey baby boy. I had never seen a blind cat before, so I was a little nervous to see what kind of special requirements or things that he would need, but there's no denying that he is not one of the cutest things that you've ever seen in your entire life. So Brad and I set up an appointment to go meet him, and when we went to go meet Seymour, we actually discovered that he had a brother who looked exactly like him. The rescue didn't tell us this before we went to go meet him, so we were really taken by surprise when we walked into the room and realized that there were 2 of them who looked exactly alike. The rescue was actually okay with letting us take just one, but it was actually Brad's idea to take them both home, and so that's what we did. I had noticed that Seymour was on Pet Finder for at least a year, and so when we went to the rescue, I had asked them, you know, how many applications have they had? Have they had many interest for potential adopters? And they said that they've been there for 2 years with 0 people who applied to adopt them. So I just want to make it known that they literally have no special requirements whatsoever. They get around just fine. They find a litter box and use the litter box just fine. I always tell people that they can see, they just don't have eyes. And if they had eyes but they were still blind, you would not believe that they were blind. They're truly incredible. I've gotten on Pet Finder several times since then, and you can actually filter for special needs animals, and there are so many blind cats out there who need adoption who are much less likely to get adopted. So this is your sign to get on Pet Finder and filter for special needs and see if there are any little blind kitties in your area that need adopting. One thing I do love about us is that I would say we eat like 99% of our meals together at the dinner table. I grew up in a household where we kind of just fended for ourselves, and I would make like ramen noodles and then head up to my bedroom and close the door and sit in front of the TV in my room and just have dinner by myself.
Weird.
So it's really nice that we have every meal together. I appreciate it. We are finishing up our evening at the lake. This is Zuko's second time paddleboarding and we had so much fun. I think we're gonna go out and get dinner, but I wanted to take this time to tell Goji's story. Goji's a bit shy, so I didn't plan on holding him or getting him out for the video, and it's actually funny, which, okay, I don't condone this whatsoever, okay, but I did get Goji for content purposes. Obviously that's not the only reason I got him, but I had Zilla, the reptile enclosure brand, reach out to me and they wanted me to promote one of their enclosures, which Fig, he already had his enclosure, and they sell a lot of like glass terrariums, and you're not really supposed to put tortoises in glass terrariums. So I was like, okay, what's an animal that I can get to, one, work with this company, but like I said earlier, okay, you guys know I'm not just gonna get an animal for content and then like neglect it. Like, I was probably always going to get another reptile anyways. So the reason we decided on a Euromastix is because they are super similar to bearded dragons, like really friendly, pretty similar temperaments, but they also don't need to eat bugs. Goji also just eats salad like Fig, so it's really easy to make his salad fresh along with Fig's every morning and then give that to him. And the reason it's funny that I got him for content purposes is because he is so shy. Anytime I go up to his enclosure, he usually just runs and hides underneath of his little rocks that I made him. So I don't really make a whole lot of videos with him. He's kind of just freeloading. Regardless, of course, I love him just as much as I love all the others. It's really cool getting to give him his ideal habitat and diet and make sure that he's really well cared for. Anyway, we're about to go get some food. I am getting eaten alive by mosquitoes right now. And last up, we have Bendy's adoption story. We just got back. We picked up some Firehouse subs. Brad is getting Zuko's dinner ready and I'm about to get the cat's dinners ready. But I thought I would give you guys Bendy's adoption story. She's our newest. She's not fully integrated yet with everyone else, but she's coming along. A couple weeks ago, I decided to get on Pet Finder, which I have now realized is not a very good idea for me. I came across Bendy's profile and I mean, how could I not? She was about 20 minutes away from where we live in North Carolina, which I thought was crazy because we found Beifong and Seymour when we were in Arizona. And so what are the odds that they have a long lost triplet sister? Long story short, we went to go meet her. That went well. We brought her home and now we have 5 cats. That concludes our day in the life video and everyone's adoption story. I hope you guys enjoyed this. As always, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more pet life content, and I hope you guys have an amazing day.